We are about to begin the QB Power Hour webinar series, your biweekly dose of insights and learning for accounting professionals with co-host Dan DeLong and along with Matthew Fulton. We're here to explore the latest in the industry, QuickBooks, and integrations that matter to you. For more details on the series, visit qbpowerhour.com. Before we get started with the main content, we want to cover a few housekeeping tips. Any handouts or resources mentioned today will be provided for download, so no frantic note-taking required. If you miss anything or want to revisit a section, don't worry, video and audio replays of this live webinar will be available after the session. For everyone joining us live on Zoom, please use the Q&A panel for content-specific questions during the session or follow up later. If you've got general comments or want to chat with your fellow attendees, use the chat feature. We love seeing your thoughts and reactions, so let's get started.
Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com. And now, on to the event.
Next slide. No.
We are going to watch that again.
I thought I had it figured out, Sharon. I'm sorry. I swear I could have just pressed the space bar and it should have just gone to the next thing. But
it's all right. It's Monday, right?
It's
Monday.
what it is.
This is your Tuesday.
Right. Well, welcome everyone to another QB Power Hour. Today we're going to be unpacking the QuickBooks revenue share. That's Rev for you and me. Revenue share models, really just kind of unpacking all of the different ways that you could potentially earn a little bit with referring and recommending QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online. So how are you, Sharon? How are everything going well with you? You sound a little raspy.
I had a kind of a wild weekend over here. I think I did more in the past 3 days than I have in the past 3 months of my life. So yeah. I made it though. I made it. It's 9 a.m. and I made it.
All right. Well, let's kick it off here. Just joining us, my name is Dan DeLong, owner at Danwith and School of Bookkeeping. Worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years, co-hosting today, as well as the Workshop Wednesdays over at School of Bookkeeping, and the deep dive host on the unofficial QuickBooks Accountant podcast, because I don't know what the official one is Ted and in the know, right? And normally joining us is Matthew Fulton. And as you may have noticed, he has been noticeably absent from the co-hosting duties. He has had some heart troubles, but we have been thinking of him fondly and warmly and lovingly and all of the things. And he actually had a procedure last couple weeks ago where he got a defibrillator inserted, and this picture here in the lower right is the lower right left depends on whether you're in the corner is him actually taking some steps and going up a hill that he had never been up before. So I think he is on the mend, and looking forward to having his return. I would love for us as a community to reach out to Matthew and make sure that he knows that we're all standing behind him, even though we're not physically behind him. That would be kind of creepy, wouldn't it be, Sharon?
It would. And the faster he gets back, the faster nobody has to see me on this anymore. So, there's a lot of motivation here for him to get very healthy, besides for just being healthy.
Yeah, exactly. But we love having you around. So Sharon, you want to introduce yourself for the folks?
Yep, I'm me. That's me in that gold jacket. I have an accounting firm, or about to no longer have an accounting firm, now just working directly with accounting firm owners, helping you scale, automate, be efficient. Yeah, so you'll see me around. I'll be at Intuit Connect. Oh, and Women Who Count.
Right.
Go to Women Who Count.
All right. And speaking of nominations and counting, Insightful Accountant, the nominations are open for the top advisor categories. It looks like they've got about 8 different categories this time it's not just the top 100 pro advisors, it's also the top tax advisors. So now they've had to homogenize and remove the pro off of the pro advisor award. So because pro
I like that
advisor,
they did that. I
yeah,
was talking to Gary at Zoho Balance, and I think what they're trying to do, I think a lot of people really, even I thought that somehow it was very related to QuickBooks because of the QuickBooks Pro Advisor. So I think they're trying to say, hey, by the way, here we go. So I know a lot of people are like, what's going on? But I think they were smart to do it like this.
yes, absolutely. All right, and so a little bit about the QB Power Hour. It's every other Tuesday at noon Eastern, and I'm now on the Eastern time zone, so I'm not as time zone challenged as I usually am. They are eligible for CPE typically about a week after the live event over at our channel over at Earmark. We also have the PDFs of the slides, which I will post shortly. As you can tell, I'm a little frantic here. I'm at my son's house, and anytime that you move into a new area with new internet and all the things, I tried to restart my machine, and that's why I was late. So I apologize for that. But we do have the qbpowerhour.com/resources for all the past recordings, and we will get that link for the handouts shortly. But today we want to talk about a few things. This is our agenda today. The Intuit news that we typically lead off with. We'll talk about the direct deposit funding delay and what happened there. I am curious what Sharon, what your thoughts are about that when we go into that. And then we'll unpack all of the different QuickBooks revenue share options within the ProAdvisor program, outside the ProAdvisor program, because there's a thing called a QuickBooks solution provider that we want to make sure that people are aware of. And then over at School of Bookkeeping, we have a hybrid model for those that don't care for either. So, all right, so let's launch our first polling question. And Sharon, thank you for doing.
I'm in it. I got to have a roll around here, right?
Right.
I got it. Got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
And as you know, or last time we had Method on the webinar. They are our spotlight sponsor that they get mentioned each time. But they also have a partner program, and they wanted me to make sure that people are aware of Method partner program, as well as we talk about the QuickBooks options here today. While people are continuing to answer that question, let's go into the Intuit news section, which was all about the direct deposit delay. So let's talk about what happened, right? Intuit did some routine server maintenance on Thursday, August 28th, which was, the day before a Friday, which is typically payday. For most, for a lot of companies, they typically have payday on that day. And then what occurred is a funding delay for direct deposits for those that happened on Friday, right? And I found out about this from a client, right, who's frantically sent me an email saying, I didn't get the email saying my funds were taken out because they're on same day direct deposit in the elite payroll, and it's not showing up in their employee's bank account on Friday, as they woke up. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it was rectified by the end of the day. And I do want to provide and make sure that everyone has access to the status QuickBooks update, or QuickBooks website, which has, the incidences that might be, if you're ever wondering, is QuickBooks down? This is a good place. This is the best place to go. And then you can subscribe to get an update when it's rectified. But typically, you'll probably see the change more so than the notification of which, right? So no harm, no foul, right? It was all fixed up by the same day. Well, if you tried to reach out to Intuit during that time period, you couldn't get through. And then, of course, increase calls to the accountants, right? So I couldn't charge my customer for, trying to figure out why their employees didn't get paid when they expected to. And then, there's a lack of accountability, and just the fact that, the ends really didn't justify the means, as far as you're messing with a lot of people's money. And a lot of people are, my oldest included, living paycheck to paycheck. So if there is that day is pretty harrowing. Sharon, what are your thoughts about this thing?
I mean, I'm pretty eccentric person, so I always try to play devil's advocate. And one thing we need to remember with payroll is it's just due by end of business that day, right? Or even I think end of banking day. But everybody's so used to waking up and having it there that they're like, where's my money? So, I mean, that's something we should always tell our clients. But on the flip end, man, I have 0 clients on QuickBooks payroll for a certain reason. So it didn't affect any of over my 100 clients, thankfully. But the groups were insane, and I felt bad for the accountants. And it's a panic because they didn't tell us anything. It's just like, they don't need to get paid until midnight your time, but stick around, So they could have absolutely been a little bit more proactive and handled it better, because it is payroll. And next time, don't do your stuff over the weekend, not on Thursday on the last day of the month. Like, who's in charge over there? No one. AI.
Yeah. Yeah, which also, leads to, other challenges when people are working on the weekend and the other people aren't available, so
yeah,
there's never a good time to do server maintenance, especially on a payroll relative thing, and especially not the day before.
Yeah. I mean, payroll is just the one thing I've always taught my team, always, you do not mess with people's pay. I don't care what it is. You do backflips, you do whatever, you get them paid, you Venmo them, you do it, and you deal with it later. But so for payroll to go down and it to just feel like they were like, to me, that was kind of just, I don't know, goes along with a lot of things, but
and this,
anyhow, are they on here? Are they watching? They're always watching me. They're always watching me.
They're like Roz from Monsters Inc. Always watching you.
They're listening.
But I think this brings up a concern. I think as Intuit is making it more what's the word?
Difficult to work with accounting?
No.
Oh, okay. We're going on a different path here.
We were not aligned in where we were headed there.
No, we were not. We do not rehearse this, guys. This is all
ad hoc here. Well, I mean, the thing is, the advantage of using connected services through Intuit is the integration, that they're going to have more availability to do more things, right? So like the things that you see with QuickBooks payments of, okay, as soon as the payment is made, the payment is recorded inside of QuickBooks. Then once the funding happens, the deposit actually happens inside of QuickBooks, and then it's automatically reconciled. So like those are additional things that only the QuickBooks connected service is going to allow you to do. And you're going to see that with the QuickBooks bill pay and the payroll, right? Like those things that are deeply integrated inside of the QuickBooks Online subscription are going to do things that no one else can, right? So that the advantage of that is what we're potentially or hopefully signing up for when you sign up for those services. More integration, you're going to get more insights or whatever, right? You cannot get, making job costing with ADP, right, is a bit of a challenge, to set that up, right? But if you're using QuickBooks Online with the payroll, those costs and allocations can be done, within the program, right? Mm-hmm. So as Intuit is, heading down this path of greater integration and more things that you can do with those integrations, they're dealing with three things that deal with money movement, right? Mm-hmm. And whether it's the bill pay service or the QuickBooks payments or payroll, any one of these things with a hiccup, and you said it yourself, Sharon, it's like you don't mess with your employees' mm-hmm. money, right? Mm-hmm. So this hiccup, as though it was, done in the same day, now soils the entire QuickBooks ecosystem because of one thing that occurred, right? And it doesn't take long to search our Facebook group to find another thing, that, right? So with Intuit Enterprise Suite, having this whole promise of, everything is so seamless, right? Mm-hmm. Once mm-hmm. there is a seam, or a loose stitch, since we're using tailoring terminology here, once there is a loose stitch, it doesn't take a long time for the whole thing to become unraveled.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a concern that they need to be aware of.
Yeah. And they should also, in my opinion, like accountants lose trust easy, right? We're fickle. Yeah. We don't like change. And once we lose trust, we're done. And I feel like they're at a place where they really need to work on that with their accountants. And this definitely didn't help. I just feel like there should have been a formal statement of accepting they're taking accountability and responsibility. And I think that's what ticks us all off, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you were impacted by this, like if you were reached out by a customer, that's how you found out about this sort of thing, put a one in the chat, because I do want to get an understanding of the scope of of how people were impacted by this and right.
I need a spreadsheet for this.
I would love to know the scope of the impact of this sort of thing with regards to what Intuit did not have to hear, because it was blocked by the accounting community. Yeah. Anyway, now that we've said all that, let's talk about
let's get some money off of this sucker.
We just want to weigh the options, right? Because at this point, Intuit, it can be viewed, and this is the way that I view them, is as the drunk uncle that shows up at Thanksgiving, right? Something's going to go askew. Something's going to say, he's going to say something, or, market to your customer, whatever, fill in the blank.
What I'm thinking right now is I was trying to think who's the drunk uncle that shows up at Thanksgiving, and I realized if you can't figure out who it is, it's likely you. So I think I'm the drunk aunt. Oh no, Sharon's here. Nobody talk about anything important ever.
Right. Okay, so let's unpack all of the rev share options, right? So you've got many options, and depending on your firm and the way that you want to interact within QuickBooks or your clients, might determine there's no one size fits all, for everyone, right? So you might find a choose your own adventure when it comes to this sort of thing. So so flip to page 42. Then we have the ProAdvisor QBOA portal, right, where you've got three options to choose from. There's a QuickBooks solution provider, and not to be outdone or whatever, we have at School of Bookkeeping, we have a new hybrid model. Right. So let's talk about the ProAdvisor billing option. So with when you create a QuickBooks Online subscription, you have one choice is firm bill, right? And that is the only way to get an ongoing discount with QuickBooks subscriptions and services that are attached to that.
Then it quickly keeps diminishing, right? Wasn't it at like 75 and 50? They're like, hey, 30, yay.
Well, originally it was 50%. And then that was back when QuickBooks Online Plus was $39.95. Think back.
That was like last year, Dan. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And then when they did a price increase, I remember taking tons of calls from accountants who were like, I thought it was a lifetime of $19.95.
Hey,
no,
we all remember. We remember.
You get a discount off of the current price.
Throw a 2 in the chat if you were ticked off when they took away your discount and your 5 for 5s. Yeah, I'm 2 in that.
So
only me.
Yes, only you.
I have no poll here. Only you do. There we go. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Carolyn. Okay, keep going.
So the discount is lifetime, but not the price that you pay, right? Yep. So as Intuit habitually now yearly is raising the price, your bill essentially will increase, but that discount margin will remain the same. Those are the different I was realizing I have direct discount is another option, and then the rev share, and we'll go through those. So the firm build for QBO and QBO Live, right? So you can even bundle in QB Live into the subscription. That is the assisted one, which is essentially the enhanced tech support that you can have within the subscription. Is 30% for life until it's not. I mean, they may change it again because originally it was 50%. Now it's been 30 for probably about 6 years now. Payroll and time, you get a 30% discount off of the subscription, so the base subscription, and then 15% off of the per employee fee. And then bill pay, you get 30% off of the subscription. So basic is free, so there's no discount on that. And plus, we've already talked about that they're already including that. And then 15% off of the transaction fee. So the 50 cents for additional ACHs or the $1.50 for mailing out a check. You also have the ability to split billing, right? So if you only want to focus on the subscription, the QuickBooks Online subscription, and then everything else like payroll.
Is that new? That's new, right? You didn't get to do, they didn't have that before.
Yeah,
because that's the reason we got rid of all of that.
Yeah, it's been about a year or so.
Okay, I got rid of direct. I got rid of my internal discount, and then we charge our clients like a year ago because I was like, I can't. This takes too much time to reconcile. I don't know what you people keep adding in that your bill pay.
And it's a challenge too, right? If they have a high turnover in the payroll, and then they add and they take off employees, you get billed for that.
Well, then Intuit changing their models all the time, then they have to add in another accountant, and they go from like, simple start to plus. I'd be curious, does anybody in here can you put in the chat if you hold the subscription, if you bill your clients, does anybody in here you pay the bill and then they bill the clients? I'm curious. Throw in chat if you do.
That's the goal, right? Is that by you being able, some people do this just to pass the discount on, to their client as like, this is a way that I'll get my other, I'll make that on my service offerings, but this attracts clients to you because you can offer that lifetime discount, right? In the ProAdvisor portal as well, you can also add payments to the subscription as you're creating the subscription, and that, more importantly, that gives the client the ProAdvisor discount, right? So that's another advantage, right? Being able to add the payment account to the subscription because it's already attached, and it's attached at lower rates, right?
Yeah.
So the ProAdvisor direct discount is another option. The billing is handled within the subscription, right? they'll get a 30-day trial, and with QuickBooks and QuickBooks Live, it's 30%, but it's just for 1 year, right? So that's temporary. Payroll and time, same discount as the ProAdvisor preferred firm build, but it just ends after a year. And the same thing with the bill pay solution, right? So the advantages here is that when you are creating these subscriptions, it's instant access, right? So as soon as you create the subscription, you're able to go in, start to make changes. When you do this as the accountant, you don't have to fumble around with the accountant invitation, and you can set up the services right from the start, right? So if you've decided on payroll, if you decided on bill pay, if you decided on payments.
Wait. Let's go back to 2 weeks ago. You don't get to decide on bill pay. It auto sends that we want them to have bill pay.
Well, the higher tiers, I should say.
Yeah.
The higher tiers of the bill pay, you can set those up right from the beginning. So it's not that the client has to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have to do something as far as, applying for the remainder of that, but you establish the right price and the right subscription right at the beginning. So it's a big advantage, right? They still have to worry about getting invited, right? Which is easier to walk through than when you try to accept the invitation themselves, right? And it doesn't go through. So then there's this third option, right? With QuickBooks or ProAdvisor revenue share, all still within the QBOA portal, right? Once you apply for and put in your information for the revenue share program, you'll be able to choose this as an option. So the discounts are different, right? So that's something to be aware of. You get 30% of the billed amount for 12 months. Apparently I forgot an S on the slide. So
12 month is fine.
12 month.
We're accountants, not grammar specialists. Literaries. I was trying to say that in a really terrible way, and it just actually, anyhow.
So with QuickBooks and QuickBooks Live, it's 50%, but only for 3 months. Payroll and QB time is 50% only on the subscription. You don't get a discount on the per employee charge, and bill pay rev share, no such option. So you don't get anything off of the bill pay yet. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't later, but as it is today. And then if you include payments and you're enrolled in the rev share, the client gets a lifetime ProAdvisor discount, and you receive 20% of net income for 2 years, right? So it's something, right? And that's not 20%. That's not 20% of charge volume. That's 20% of the net income of the fees, right? Yep. So, and we'll talk about an example when we get to the QSP program, but it ends, right? So it's only 2 years, but it is certainly something, right?
Yep.
You are set up with a revenue share dashboard. There are links to send out, and you can invite clients to sign up for something that is revenue shareable. I guess that's the term.
I like it.
But if there are any issues with your rev share, there's not a direct contact to work with. So you basically just have to start knocking at the door and say, hey.
So it's like payroll.
Exactly.
Just kidding. Just kidding. See,
Kathy says, never
worked.
worked. As you can see, my revenue share dashboard is
I
lit up with
this.
0.
Honestly, this was me. I'm like, no, I wait until you ask my opinions before I give my opinions. All right.
Well, let's launch
a thing, and then I'll opinionate.
And then I'll share your opinion. So are you
So
interested?
here's the thing.
Yeah.
So of course, right? So for the longest time, our packages are you come to us and here's what you pay. It includes your payroll service fee, your QuickBooks fee, because we only use QuickBooks, and your services, right? We wanted to pay one fee. But then as we realized like a year or so ago, if they did bill pay, if they added their accountant, it went up, but I had to reconcile. I go, why did my monthly QuickBooks bill go from 3,500 to 5,000? What's happening, right? And the time that took. And then as QuickBooks is increasing its prices, I'm having to go to my clients like, I have to increase you by $20. And even though it sounds pithy, when you have 100 clients, that's $2,000. That's 24,000 a year. So we finally said, you know what? You have to, no matter who does your books anywhere, you have to have a subscription to something. So we gave everybody back their subscriptions. You're in charge of it. I didn't raise my prices that year. I left them the same. So they were paying $5.99 for whatever our basic packages. I was paying like $100 their fees. They pay it. My price stayed the same, but now they're paying it. And let me tell you what, the amount of time I've saved. So I know there's some rev share in here, but sometimes you have to look at the reconciliation to decide if it makes sense, right? Because your clients need to have this subscription anyways. That's my opinion. That has been my TED Talk.
Is that welcome to Sharon's TED Talk?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is a key factor and a component of that is who is managing the relationship at that point and reconciling the differences, right? So if they add employees or new services without you knowing it, and that affects your bill, then you now chasing down the clients. And to your point, that's not what you're that's not worth your while, right? The
it just
juice
wasn't. I was
worth
like,
the squeeze.
No, it wasn't. And honestly, we made like maybe $1,000 a month because I tried to give them our pricing plus a little bit on top for that reconciliation. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. So I'm happier now that they have it.
And it looks like most of the folks are in your shoes, right? So if we look at the poll questions, I just want the best discount, for your client.
Because I want you to use the software we require you. Because if you work with us, you have to use QuickBooks Online, right? And if I'm requiring it, I want you to get the best deal because you can't work with us otherwise. It's inefficient for our firm. So, or the firm I used to have.
Right. All right. So let's unpack QuickBooks Solution Providers, which is for a lot of people a little bit trying to understand what in the world a QSP is. But basically, a QSP, QuickBooks Solution Provider, is a separate channel inside of, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, it's under the sales channel because it's very sales and results focused over at Intuit. But it's going to be accounting and technology firms. Right now, there was a big push for applications to also become a QuickBooks Solution Provider like Sin7 or Method. And, some of those applications are also QuickBooks Solution Providers, which the whole idea of that channel or that program is to be able to kind of bundle your services, much like an accountant, because it started as, all accountants were in there, but then it expanded to technology firms, MSPs, I guess they're called, and then other applications like Notify and all of the other ones that are there. You do get additional resources and contacts as a QuickBooks Solution Provider. And it's not just QBO. Like all of the things that we just talked about earlier is all within QBOA. So if you happen to have a customer who would be better served or better fit with QuickBooks Enterprise or some other Intuit product that might work better for them, well, you can do that inside of the QSP channel. But because it's sales focused, there are sales goals and thresholds within this program. And you'll find that with any partner program that a lot of companies may have, is that there may be a threshold or tiers. The more that you sell, the more you get, right? You've seen that in the ProAdvisor benefits channel, right? Where the more points that you get, and you see those points are heavily weighted towards new subscriptions, right? So things of bringing those things in are a little bit more weighted than one or the other, right? And based off of their desired outcomes, they may change their points so that it does that, right? But you also get additional discount options, right? So maybe DTM is desktop migrators. So if they are migrating, if you submit an order through this channel and they are desktop migrating, they may have a promotion to give a better discount for those, or maybe it's multi-company at the same time. And there is also within that, there is referrals. There's a referral channel, much like what we saw with the direct discount with ProAdvisor and QBOA, but there's also a reseller very similar to the firm build option. So there is a link there for the QSP website if you want to learn more about that. The advantages of a QSP, those additional resources and contacts, they're going to provide all sorts of sales headliners and widgets that you can put on your website and things of that nature. Again, it's not just QBO. And then you also have, with payments, you have lifetime residuals, right? So this is the example that I wanted to use. I'm affiliated with a QSP, and they had someone who converted from QuickBooks Online to desktop, and they were having trouble activating the QuickBooks payments or actually charging credit cards. So the QSP said, "Hey, if you can fix this, I'll give you the account." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's whatever," and I was new, didn't know any better. So I spent probably the better part of a couple days working with them, talking with them, trying different things. We ultimately fixed it. And since then, I was just looking at my, running some reports. Since then, it was probably like 2019. I've probably earned about $50,000 on their payment residuals over the course of the lifetime of them using the subscription. And if I called them, they wouldn't know who I was, right? Like I am not connected with them at all, right? The only thing is that they had a connection with a QSP, and we just needed to activate their subscription. Now, if this was a revenue share with the payments, well, one, it's only with QBO and not desktop. And oh shoot, my computer just restarted.
Of course it did.
Well, those of you watching the live feed are not watching the live feed anymore on YouTube. But if this was with the QPO revenue share model, that would have ended, 5 or 4 years ago, right? So the fact that this is a lifetime residual they're not all that way, right? Like I'm not going to earn $50,000 on everyone. They just happen to be very heavy in the QuickBooks payments, right? The drawbacks, right? It's not all unicorns and rainbows. Typically, especially the reseller or the referral model, there is a delay in order processing because you have to send that to Intuit, the order desk, and then they have to place the order. So a human has to actually do it. There are, other ways around that, but to say it's a confusing compensation structure is an understatement. Yeah. My wife actually worked for Intuit Sales for 10 years, and it was almost a monthly thing for me to try to figure out what the commission structure was for the sales agents, because they would change it, frequently. And they do the same thing here, right? They put the carrots where they want things to go, and sometimes that's not the best fit, for your client. So, and some of those things are not commissionable, right? So there's no bounty, there's no referral. So weighing those options, like Simple Start, for example, is not a commissionable thing, right? Because they're putting the carrot, or actually taking away the carrot or Simple Start, because they don't want that, right? But you can do that in the revenue share option if you wanted to, right? And then those sales goals and thresholds, you'll have somebody, either wagging their finger or cheering you on, depending on how well you're doing there. So a lot of QSPs have actually realized that some things are better done together, right? So there's an option if you don't want to deal with, managing that Intuit relationship. A lot of QSPs have partner programs where you can join their partner program and activate subscriptions through that QuickBooks solution provider. and then typically they'll have some sort of arrangement with a compensation split. Hector Garcia is a QSP who has a partner program. There are a lot of QSPs that are out there that do and have these arrangements. There's a link there for the QSP directory, so you can always reach out if you wanted to find out and shop the partner programs to see which one works best. But they remove the admin burden of meeting those sales thresholds because they do, and then you just help them meet those sales thresholds because you're doing it together, and then you can have those leveraged resources, and then oftentimes they'll have third-party partner programs in their partner program, so it's going to be more than QuickBooks.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of rambling on here. Sharon, you have anything to to add? Are you?
No. I mean, this is a lot of it. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we should, right? But I'm sitting here, I was actually trying to pull mine up. I'm like, do I have rev share set up? Is it too late? Like, honestly, it's just one of those things, like a lot of people are saying, you care less about getting that rev share. Like, some of us don't have a business model that cares about that rev share. We care about getting our client on the software that we know, we prefer, we use, so we can be efficient, proactive, and good at our job to provide a service for our clients. I mean, this extra stuff we get is just benefits. And I'm the worst. So when I send my clients, I'm like, go use Anchor. And they're like, do you have a link? I'm like, yeah, but I don't really care. Just please go use it so I could get you set up. And I think it's money on the table, that we're just leaving there and we should pick up on. But if it becomes between the needs of my client, me adding an extra $50 in my bank account, it's going to be my client because there's more money there long term.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
This is interesting, Dan. I'm actually just sitting here learning. So
it's good. And the thing about the QSP program, I knew of it, working at Intuit, I knew what it was, or I knew of it, but I didn't know what it was. And when I left Intuit, I was like, well, I should investigate, what this is, because I like mailbox money. I like, this example of $50,000 for an account that I've never worked with, since 6 years. That is something that gets me pretty jazzed. And, because I like making money doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we all do, right?
So, but after I left, I was like, I still didn't understand the whole criteria and the
I still don't understand. This is a lot of stuff.
Right. So I ended up joining a partner program because, okay, they're going to remove those admin burdens for me. Okay. All I have to do is just refer or, follow the steps. Right. So because